But in general, you know where a Taurus stands, and that's very much how she is. So I did say that I see her in the future kind of standing up for Palestine, and so forth and so forth. I don't want to get into politics, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I see very strongly, I'm just very proud of her evolution as a person. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Hallie. So grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I'm really excited to have you all. Please make sure you like the video, you comment, you are subscribed. Switch on your notifications if you want to keep up with my readings. I know some of you say you don't get my readings and so forth. Just to make sure that you get notified for everything, make sure you have notifications on. Okay, let's get into this. By the way, I do go live once a week. I'll go back to live once a week. A lot of my workload has been pushed, so because I just finished a lot of things I was working on. Stay tuned for an announcement. So I'm going back to weekly lives. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm doing couples updates. I'm doing two famous couples. I'll start off with Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper, and the second one is Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. I've actually met both Dwayne Wade and Bradley Cooper, which is very funny. I kind of feel like before I lived, well, even when I live in Florida, I still come across celebrities, but when I lived in New York, I had and LA, such a weird, not a weird life, but just very interesting life, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that happened in my life. But anyways, that aside, I'm going to be using the Lightyears Tarot for Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper, and I'm using the Crystal Magic Tarot. I haven't used this deck in a while. I really love this deck, so we'll get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Gigi Hadid, Bradley Cooper. You know, the energy that I got when I was shuffling the cards was, I just don't see them connecting. That's all I'm going to say. So the Queen of Pentacles, the Magician, Knight of Pentacles, I think she's working a lot. She's working very hard. You know, people come for Gigi very strongly in the comment section, that I sometimes have to delete and block people that are criticizing her. I like to come from a place of empathy and understanding. That's how I do my readings. I don't want to promote hate. That's not what these readings that I do are about. I just like to approach life with empathy and understanding, because I think it makes understanding situations better. I don't believe Gigi Hadid to be a big bad person. I think she's definitely under her mother's spell. But if you've ever come from, like I have, a narcissistic family dynamic, especially with a mother who's very narcissistic, who pushes her ideas and her expectations onto her kids, you can have empathy for Gigi, which I do, and I send her love and I wish her well. And I just wish that more people did understand that it's a bigger issue. Not everybody is perfect. So I just want to put that aside. I see her working a lot, and she's working. She is the sun in Taurus, and I'm very proud of her work ethic. Something that I really like about Gigi Hadid is that she sticks to her guns, which Taurus are very good at. You know, when I was younger, I didn't really like Taurus for that. I think it's my Libra rising. I didn't really like them for that. But the older that I've gotten, the more that I've realized that sticking to your guns is better, because people you're dealing with know where you stand, and sometimes they can be a bit too stubborn, Sun and Taurus, but at least you know where the person stands with you. You know, it's not like one day that you'll find out that this person, I have had some Taurus that have been two-faced, but in general, you know where a Taurus stands, and that's very much how she is. So I did say that I see her in the future kind of standing up for Palestine, and so forth and so forth. I don't want to get into politics, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I see very strongly, I'm just very proud of her evolution as a person. I do think she could use stepping away from her mother to help to benefit her, because if you know anything about family dynamics in a narcissistic family household, you'll never be truly, that parent will never be truly happy with you ever, because They see themselves as an extension of you, and narcissism is an extension of low self-esteem. It's a byproduct, rather, of low self-esteem. So they will never be truly happy. She's never truly going to be happy with Gigi, Yolanda. And that's something that she has to realize. So in the relationship, I see her working a lot. He's going to complain. He's going to say, why are you working so much? I don't get to see you. I don't do this. I don't do that. And she's like, but I have things to do. I think she feels like she has to work a lot to compensate for the fact that she doesn't ever feel good enough for her mother, you know. So 2 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, and 8 of Cups. I see very strongly them going their separate ways. I get April of next year. I have predicted this. I didn't see exactly when it was going to come, or maybe I thought it was this year, but I see April of next year. Time is fluid. I say that all the time because we have free will, you know. But I see by April of next year, they will have broken up. Yeah. And write a note, you know, 8 of Cups, we've decided to go our separate ways, and, you know, the typical PR breakup thing. I wish them both very well, and even though I did not get a good... It's funny because this is when I started... Where did I meet him? I met him around the same time that I met Leonardo DiCaprio, and I used to really like Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor, really like Bradley Cooper as an actor, and when I met them I was so like turned off that I decided to just not ever fully succumb to rooting for celebrities like that, you know. I've never really been like a follower type, but it just made me... And Cameron Diaz too. When I met Cameron Diaz, she was really nasty to me, and after that I was like, you know, why am I putting these people on a pedestal? So ever since then I decided to never put any of them on a pedestal, because they're human, you know, and they don't deserve to be on a pedestal. No one really does. Okay, so let's move on to Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. I must say, Dwayne Wade was a very cool guy. He was one of the nicest celebrities that I met. Dwayne Wade, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Jessica Alba. Other than people that I've met, that I've dated, that are celebrities and that I've gotten to know, those 3 were so cool. Dwayne Wade was so cool. Very cool guy. I understood why she loves him so much, honestly. I really understood. Okay, so let's get into this. Not looking good. The Justice, Knight of Wands, and 9 of Swords. So, not looking good at all. So, I did hear this. This is just a rumor that I heard, that I'm seeing here, because I completely forgot about this rumor. I might have mentioned it a long time ago. I used to work with this woman. She wasn't very nice to me, but it's okay. But she used to tell me stories at work. We used to talk about celebrities and stuff, because, you know, in New York, especially if you work in the service industry, you meet a lot of celebrities. If you work in service, and by service I mean hospitality, I mean yoga, I mean fitness, which I did all 3 in New York. And I would hear stories and meet people, and especially, you know, when you meet people that do makeup and hair and dancers, you hear a lot of stories about celebrities, personal stories. So I used to work at a restaurant with this woman, and she told me that, in fact, I met this friend that used to date Dwayne Wade. It was around the time that he and Gabrielle Union, had broken up. She's very pretty, because she brought her in one day and they had dinner. She was very pretty, very sweet. I have nothing but nice words to say about her. And the friend that I worked with had told me that they had a lot of issues, you know, because we were talking about, I told her that I met Dwayne Wade, and she was like, oh my gosh, my friend. She described the friend, because she came in with her one day, and I was like, oh yes, I remember that friend. She said, yeah, that friend used to date Dwayne Wade, and she told me tons of stories about how Gabrielle Union was very mean to her, stuff like that. So what I'm seeing here, and this is the only reason why I'm bringing this up in the reading, what I see here, 9 of Swords, is that Gabrielle, never really forgave him. And she is a sun in Capricorn. No, she's a sun in Scorpio. This is the dark side of Sun and Scorpios. In relationships, they can never forgive fully the past. If you've done something wrong to them, they either have to do it back to you or they'll use it against you. And with the Justice and Knight of Wands, I see a divorce. I get October. We're going to get an announcement. This is very sad because I really like them together, but I'm just remembering that story she told me. I don't know why I forgot that story. You know, sometimes we just forget things. And this was in 2016 she told me this. Because it was around my birthday, 2016. I remember it so clearly. Was it 2017? No, it was 2016. Especially because they used to live in New York at the time. I don't know if they still live there. I say it all the time. I don't focus on celebrity news. But they used to live in New York at that time. And this friend of hers, she was very sweet. She lived in the Bronx, I think. I don't want to say anything other than that because she deserves privacy. But let's see. She has never gotten over Three of Swords, the Moon, Page of Coins. So she's tried. I think she's done some healing, all that stuff. Three of Swords, the Moon, Page of Coins. She's bought books. She's tried to go to therapy. And it's almost like, because he is a Sun in Capricorn. Sun and Capricorn men have many great qualities. The longest relationship I had was with the Sun in Capricorn. I never say never. The only sign I will never date again is Libra. But other than that, I never say never, because, you know, Capricorns do have some great qualities about them. One person does not depict the whole zodiac sign. But something I've noticed in Capricorns in general, in most Capricorns I've met, they have difficulty saying sorry. And I see that with him, and it really upsets her. Sometimes it brings her down, because she just wants to move forward, and it's difficult to move forward in a situation when the person, I see him kind of, he wasn't like this with me when I met him. He was actually so cool, I can't even believe it, but I can't separate the two. And I see him kind of looking at different women. She sees him looking. There's nothing worse than a man with a lingering eye. Anyone with a lingering eye. I can't stand it. If you have a lingering eye in front of me, I promise you, I'll never see you again. I don't even have to explain it myself. I just will ghost that person, because I don't have time to be telling a grown man not to be looking at other women when I'm on a date with them. It's just, I ghost people for stuff like that. But what I wanted to say is that I feel that I don't think Dwayne Wade was ever meant to be with an actress. I see him being happier with the girl next door, you know, which I see her, there is a girl next door type coming into his life that I think he will be happier with. And I don't want to say that she's mean, she's this, because I have heard stories, you know, but I just think some people bring out the worst in you, even if it can be two great people. In fact, I have an ex like that who's a Capricorn. Funny. And I was talking about him the other day. We're still, I wouldn't say we're close, but we're friendly with each other. We talk every now and then. He's married to a beautiful woman, and his kids are stunning. But we just brought out the worst in each other, and it's okay, you know. It's totally fine that we acknowledged it, and we both moved on, and we can be friendly. We were friends at some point, but I don't believe in being friends with exes anymore, especially if the other person's married. I think it's disrespectful. But in the spirit of being hospitable, or whatever the word is, to just acknowledge that not everybody's meant to be together. And I see that happening here, that they're just not meant to be together, you know. I think that they were trying because their families like the idea of them, and I think there's someone in his family that really wants him to live the real Hollywood life, and he's not that kind of guy. So that's what I have for you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for more. Subscribe, comment. I would love to hear what you say. Take care.